After so many years, hounded by hatred and trapped by fear, I'm in a box. I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I'll slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah. Black babies in the womb, shackled and bound, chained by the caveman who keeps beauty down, smacked on the ass when they're squalling and wet. And to a spineless man who never forgets, never forgets that he's a prisoner. Can't you hear my plea? 'Cause I need somebody, Lord knows, to listen to me. I'm a stranger to my son who wonders why his daddy runs, yeah. Greetings, peace, and love. Welcome again to the NEPPC podcast. I'm Brother Frank. I'm with former political prisoner
Abdul Haq Islam.
Today's episode, we focus on what recently occurred. What we recently witnessed was the coming home of somebody who was obviously unjustly incarcerated. The prison swap of Brittney Griner with this arms dealer. And when we look at the so-called crime that she committed and the crime that he committed, or the so-called crime that he committed, we look at that. Those are two situations that are definitely not equal. So what we are witnessing is the power of people and the power of, or and the influence of celebrities, because we know that a number of celebrities are calling for this individual to be released from prison. And we, the people who take on the work of political prisoners, we have gained a new level of inspiration behind what just occurred. We say that when you have a political interest, you have to step up and accept that responsibility and that challenge. And the results that are in your favor can happen, and it will happen. It's just a matter of time, right? And that time is determined on your consistency to commit yourself to this particular idea. And in this case, people wanted this athlete home, and they were not going to stop until she came home. And what she was incarcerated for 9 months, if I'm not mistaken, and now she's home with her family. So when I look at that, and I think of our comrades, our freedom fighters who are unjustly incarcerated for this extended period of time, Mumia Abu Jamal, Matulu, Black Power salute to those who advocated for his release. And now, in only a few days, he'll be home to his family, where they could provide for him the care that he needed, and he could live the remainder of his days in a humane environment. And I think that we have to find inspiration from what just happened on in the world with this prison swap, and look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what are we ready to do? Because they have a very important event coming up from Mumia in Philadelphia this Friday. Contact me at 347-679-3936. I'll be out there representing the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, and definitely doing my part on behalf of us and all those who have the interest, and even the viewers, those who share our podcast with 10 people. Know that I'm out there representing you and what you would like to be doing. Unfortunately, your schedule doesn't allow you to do it. But when you support the work that me and my brother are doing right now, you support us more than just this platform. You perform, support us actually being out in the street. So we're appreciative of that. And I think that, today's discussion is very important because we have to gain inspiration from any and everywhere. And we just want to take a few minutes to shout out Charlemagne the God, because on Hella Week, his show on Comedy Central, he actually mentioned about what about the release of our political prisoners. He mentioned Leonard Peltier, uh, uh, Jalil Alamin, formerly known as H. Rap Brown. He called for their release, as well as Mumia Abu Jamal. And that's a major platform. And Dr. Umar Johnson, he gave his viewpoint on that. And then I think that let us know that we're not alone. And all we have to do is just keep pushing. We keep fighting. And, our desires, the goals that we have, the objectives that we have to reach out will be manifested at some moment in time. Brother Hot.
Peace and love. It's a beautiful day, a beautiful revolutionary day to do 500 push-ups and to fight for justice and human rights, to fight with hands and feet or whatever, fight with whatever, So, we say free all political prisoners, bring them home, and like Brother Frank said, we're relating today's podcast to what's happening today. Right now everybody know that Brittney Griner is coming home, and a lot of people need to come home. I right on for the sister, the tall sister. We know basketball. Basketball is important. And just like Brittney was getting high. About 1974. I was high, walking down one side of the street and saw my head floating down the other side of the street. But me seeing my head flying ain't had nothing to do with protecting black people and saving the lives of black people. And this is what our political prisoners have done. Their efforts have protected us. And this day right now is very, very important because lunatics and psychopathic killers, you understand, among the white supremacists, are organizing and targeting black folks to murder black people. They're buying guns in unprecedented numbers, and you're the target, So, we got to think about black. We got black owners. Black is covering our bodies. You understand? So it's time to think black. Thinking about the case of Mumia Abu Jamal. He has some legal dates coming up. There's some new evidence in this trial. They found a box in the DA that has some very important information in there. For one, there's a letter from a witness, Robert Chaubert, was saying, "Where's my money?" This is one of the guys that testified on Mumia. He's asking for his money. And there was information about Cynthia White, who had a case, at the time of the Mamia's trial. Her and Shabert were two of the main witnesses, and she had a case, and they was conspiring, coming together to exonerate her, for her testimony. Also, there's information that that the DA had a checklist that started with the letter B, you understand, to exclude black jurors from the jury pool. 71% of the blacks, who were eligible to be jurors in Mamia's case were excluded, compared to 20% of the white folks, So this is some new evidence in Mumia's case. Brother who fought for our freedom, who stood up for us, and it is very, very important, and it makes a whole lot of sense for us to stand up. We love basketball, but basketball ain't really saving our lives, but people like Mumia Abu-Jamal and all the other political prisoners, they stood up and fought for us, and in this time right here, it's very, very relevant because we have psychopathic killers, among the enemy, white supremacists, Proud Boys who are on the hunt for the NWNENSE, Negroes with no self-esteem. I just made that up. Negro with no self-esteem. That's the group that the Proud Boys are looking for, and we saying that we need to organize for self-defense. They also, a brother they locked up, Grandmaster Jay, who was the leader of Not Fooling Around Coalition. Y'all know what the word actually is. I'm not saying it, but the Not Fooling Around Coalition, was the biggest black militia in America, And since this brother has been locked up, we ain't heard nothing from the Not Fooling Around Coalition. And we need black people nowadays to organize for self-defense because these lunatics, have you understand, on high on their agenda, to move on black people. They hate black people. That's what white supremacy is all about, So we're saying, what's the call? Free them all. Do your research on the political prisoners. Brothers like Mumia Abu-Jamal,
Yes.
Matulu Shakur,
Veronza Bowers,
Imam Jamil Alameen, people who Joy Powell, people love people and stood up for black people.
I think that yes, it's very important that we learn and research, but beyond that, we have to be inspired and we have to do things in our community that reflect our political prisoners, because our political prisoners represent that ultimate sacrifice that people have for things that are greater than themselves. Like you heard me say before, and you'll hear me say a number of times that political prisoners, they valued freedom more than their very lives, and that's why they were willing to put it on the line, and that's why they're currently in its current position that they're in. This predicament is not final, right? Because we know about their examples, and when I say that we who choose to do the research, right? Any and everything that we receive as a people came through struggle. Whether it's where you want to sit at the bus or the times you're going to work at your job, somebody fought and organized for that. So that's why we can't take anything for granted. We have to be appreciative, and more than just saying thank you, you have to commit yourself to certain action. That's why we committed ourselves to this podcast, half an hour every Wednesday, because we understand the importance of making time for those who made sacrifices for us. And we realize that that has to be consistent, because it's through consistency where you win over people. And me and my brother Abdul Haq Islam, a former political prisoner, understands that. He understands and he's appreciative, because while he was incarcerated and while people were organizing for him, he got that strength inside of himself that if there's people fighting for me, I have to continue to fight for myself. Like, I've been in conversations with political prisoners and ask them about how they got through all that time. You know, some of them have faith, and then some of them have the support of people, right? So if people are writing you, they're visiting you, they're letting you know that you are loved, you are appreciated, and they are continuing doing their work because of you. I think that that is something that inspires somebody to continue to fight, because I know that inspired me. Because if I'm having a movement where I feel down, and I have my support unit is right there for me, patting me on the back, telling me that they love me. That's like me getting a shot of tea or something like that, and with that natural caffeine, and or me just doing a whole bunch of push-ups and feeling that energy that I need to feel to carry myself over. Because political prisoners are just like us. You know, they have feelings, they have good days and bad days of uncertainty, and you know, they need that inspiration. That's why we say write to a political prisoner, create that dialogue. You're going back and forth with a political prisoner via written words, and you're getting to know this individual, and you're getting to understand that this individual has some ideas that are beneficial to you. Because as you're writing, you're starting to think about what you're going through in your life, and they're corresponding with you, and they're going through what they're going through in their life, and they're giving you advice that's genuine, that's sincere, and advice that I think is very sharp, because their world is restricted, right? Their ability to move around is restricted. Therefore, their distractions are tremendously reduced, and they're in that environment where they can focus clearly on a particular topic. And that's why when they're able to talk to you and give you some advice, that advice is based on research. And I think that we should be appreciative to the political prisoners for their contribution in us being able to stand up and fight, and be clearer about who our friends and who our enemies are. And we owe our political prisoners a lot. And that's why we at the NEPPC podcast, you know, this studio that we created for ourselves in the Republic of Brooklyn is beneficial to us to educate people who may not know about political prisoners, and who want to get more informed and in tune, and who are ready to do some work on some level. Brother Abdul Haq Islam, you know, when people have to learn about political prisoners, and when people learn something about political prisoners, what should inspire them to do?
Well, I think the golden example that political prisoners, are and exhibit, you understand, is very, very inspirational. When I'm in a room and political prisoners, there's a vibe that you don't get, like when you're riding on the subway. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's power, knowing that we're going to win,
Exactly.
and a purging of everything, you understand, that goes into, labeling people stuff like Negroes and Niggers, being unconcerned about their people, selling out, snitching, being weak, you understand, compromising, collaborating with the enemy, you understand, purging all this filth, you understand, from the being, you understand, and producing a new brothers and sisters, revolutionaries who believe we can do anything we set our minds to, we can do. Not repeating, what the enemy says, that you can be anything you want to be. But when they say that, they exclude you being a revolutionary, having self-determination, being in control of yourself, ruling yourself. You understand? Standing up to an enemy 10 times that some people think is 10 times bigger than them. You understand? This is the heart and soul of revolutionaries, which is very, very beautiful. You understand? And I love being around revolutionaries. As opposed to people who will, drop a dime on you, snitch on you, stab you in the back, rob, steal, snatch pocketbooks and whatnot, and um, like Brother Frank gave me a shirt, which talks about qualities of certain revolutionaries, certain political prisoners, and it's beautiful. When I talked about the vibe that it surrounds you, you understand, like a cloud of gold. You understand, that surrounds you, an atmosphere that is beautiful that you get when you're around people, who believe standing up, who have steel in their backbones, who have iron in their will and determination. You understand? Who will fight forever and never give up, will stand up to anything. You understand? Being around these people, and it is beautiful to have this in the community. So there's certain qualities on this shirt that Brother Frank gave me that y'all can't see right now because it's kind of halfway cut off by the screen.
But I read it: endure like Chip, advocate like Rochelle, be bold like Maroon, organize like Jalil, motivate like Ed P, struggle like Sundiata, heal like Veranja, nurture like Dr. Matulu, express like Mumia, sacrifice like Kamal, rap like Imam Jamil. And that's on the shirt. And I think that's very powerful because everybody on that shirt has the capabilities to contribute to a people advancing. And I think that needs to really be focused and that needs to be internalized when we live our lives each and every day because enough of us are being exposed to people who are going through serious mental health crisis and they need to know what to do in those certain situations. So if you have somebody who's been incarcerated for 20, 30, 40 years, almost 50 years, then you understand that these people have been around a number of people who are.
I did 10 and that was enough.
Exactly, right? And so these people,
10 was enough for me.
Right? Been around 40, all sorts of crises.
50? Lord have mercy.
Exactly. So they've been around all these different personalities. They didn't heard just about every story that you could hear about people going through things. So that therefore they know how to deal with you regarding the type of advice that they need to give you. Because we've been around and been in certain situations for so long, and sometimes it happens and we think that that's going to be the way it's going to be forever. But then one day things are different, right? You have that leap and change, and you never return back to once where you were in terms of your level of being down and feeling out and feeling defeated.
Wow.
You have to get yourself up and you have to find inspiration. And I think the political prisoners are that. Because when I talk to the prisoners, I ask them about what got them through their long, extensive sentence. And a number of them will be like their faith. Some of them will be like their family.
And their study.
Their study. Exactly. Because those books are powerful. I tell people, take everything, any and everything away from me. Just leave me with my library card. And with that library card, I have access to a bunch of books, and I'll get myself up back to where I need to be. And I'll take those ideas, those theories, and put them into practice because theory and practice is one and the same. You can't just know something and continue to repeat it and do nothing with it. That's just regurgitation. You have to have an idea. You have to nourish it. You have to digest it, and you have to utilize it to allow you to be productive in society. And that's proper digestion of a concept, of a theory. And I think that needs to be emphasized when we engage with people, because people would talk about, I respect a political prisoner, or I respect those who fought back, and I respect this person over that person. But what does that mean to somebody if you're not taking some action behind your idea of respecting somebody? You can just say respect, and that's just a word. It's just a term, right? But it has to be something that has substance to it. And the only way it can have substance to it by you being driven or led to a particular action. So that's why the NEPPC podcast is about that, right? You're going to see me in Queensbridge tomorrow as they have their grieving group session at the community center from the hours of 6 to 8. So Black Power salute to Transform America for doing that. And if you happen to be there, you feel free to talk to me, and I'll talk to you about political prison and the work that I'm involved in. We once again appreciate the support that we've been getting from the community of Queensbridge. So if you're out in Queensbridge, please tell people about the podcast. We're only asking half an hour a week, half an hour out of a 7-day week. There's a number of hours to do other things, but we just asking for this particular time. Like, share with at least 10 people. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so that we can grow our subscription, and that subscription could eventually lead to us being able to obtain resources that can expand our work. Because we have a number of ideas, but the ideas definitely need those resources to give them life, to take them to that next level. But until that time, I'll continue to put up my posters. I'll continue to share and continue to develop new content regarding the political prisoner. And we got Kwanzaa coming up, right? What is your recommendation for people who engage in Kwanzaa and what they should do regarding political prisoners when Kwanzaa come up?
Yeah, well, we love all the principles. A couple of them that come to my mind immediately is Umoja, the unity. We always talk about unity. That's always the topic of discussion among our people. Being unified, coming together, showing love. Being about us. And let's make this real. Let's just let's make this something we talk about. Let's make unity real. We talk about Coochie Chocolate, self-determination, being governed by ourselves. Our politics is all about self-determination, not being a slave, breaking them chains, So let's really, really vibe on that. Make it strong. Make that strong in the streets, in our communities, in our various endeavors, whatever we do, self-determination, not being a slave, breaking the chains, not being weak, standing up, being strong, feeling the power of our people. The power of our people has enabled us to free some of our political prisoners, and we need to keep on exerting this power, whatever comes against us, like I mentioned earlier, in 2022, you got to be aware that groups like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, you understand, are organizing to attack and kill Black people. They got genocide on the agenda, so we need to apply these principles with new meaning, you understand, that we might not have fully expressed, during past Kwanzas, to survive, to bring forth more and more successes, more and more Black revolutionaries, the youth coming up in the street, these powerful youth, these energetic youth, you understand, need to understand politically, what's going on politically, what the history has been. The history has been one of straight up politics of powerful people exerting their will, you understand, over people that have more power who they overpowered, you understand. So we're saying, let's increase the power in our people through the principles of Kwanzaa, and apply, all these ideas and these very, very beautiful norms, you understand, to free them all.
Yes, I think that's very important because we have some time before Kwanzaa comes, and we have another week or so.
Yeah.
And so we have time to prepare for Kwanzaa and focus on what we need to talk about, and we have to include political prisoners, because when we talk about Kwanzaa, we're talking about sacrifices. We're talking about the interests of the collective. We're talking about avoiding individualism and how individualism could be detrimental to the further development of our
collectivism.
people. So we have to, yes, we have to practice collectivism.
It's African.
Exactly. That's African culture. And that's who we are. That's what got us through the worst of times. And that's what sustained us in the best of times. So I think that those ideas need to be reflected on. And before we leave, I just want to let you know that Matulu is scheduled to come home this week, the 16th.
16th.
And so donate to MatuluShakur.com. We appreciate once again those who donated already. Those who have not, please consider doing what you can. I just gave you the website right there. Donate at MatuluShakur.com. You can also give it to me, and I'll give it directly to his son. I'll provide you with a receipt, as I did before. Let's do our part. Make sure that the brother's okay when he comes home. Make sure that things are intact, so that we as a people are taking care of our freedom fighters, because they're not terrorists, they're freedom fighters, and we're people who are oppressed. We're people who need to be liberated. We need to be in control of our very fate, our very destiny. We need to be able to express our self-determination without any interference from these people or those people who oppose our views. And I think that that's very important that we understand that clearly, because this is the only way that we're going to be able to make sure that we're okay, right? Because that's what freedom means. Freedom is being okay. It's having the right to control your destiny, and right to control it at the levels that they need to be controlled at. And I think that this week is a very powerful week. We got Matulu coming home. We got Mumia's court date. Let's get busy. Let's prepare ourselves. And we are inspired by the prison swap, because we know now that it's all about how much you can push a certain person or people who are in power. Right? They say that we have a democracy. They say that we all had voted for a particular person, and now we are in a position to make that particular person do what we want to do. And I think that we all need to be inspired by what just happened. We can call on these celebrities to advocate for the release of our political prisoners. We could we could DM them. We could write them whenever we see them somewhere. We can have a shirt on that says "Free Mumia," "Free Veronza Bowers," "Free free Ed Poindexter." Well, Matulu's coming home, so he will be free. Imam Jamil. Free Joy Powell. Free Rochelle McGee. Free all our political prisoners, because they don't need to be in prison. And how long should they be in prison if you decided that they are going to be in prison? 20, and 25 remember, years,
free Grandmaster Jay, leader of the Not Fooling Around Coalition. Because we need armed militia right now, because the white supremacist armed militia is on the move.
Well, we have the right to defend ourselves.
We have the right to defend ourselves.
So let's be clear. We have the right to defend ourselves. And I think all people have a right to defend ourselves, or to defend themselves. Because to not defend yourselves is to engage in suicide. And nobody wants that. We are here for a reason, to carry out a cause. And I think that that's very important that we're able to do that. So we see the prison swap of this athlete for this arms dealer.
Yeah.
We see that that's possible.
Which is right on. Yeah.
And that didn't happen. That happened only because people made that happen.
Right.
What Sundiata said? He said the state don't free political prisoners, the people do.
That's right.
So hit like, subscribe, and share with 10 people. So what's your closing remarks? It's about that time. We don't take too much time, but we make the best of our time.
Well, I mean, just to we said a lot of things, and we talked about the new evidence in Mumia's case. You understand? And we talked about Matulu coming home. So we're saying that that people should look up Mumia's update Mumia Abu Jamal, and free all political prisoners.
Yes, free
That's
them
the
all.
call. Let's free them all.
So as we usually do, we haven't done it in a while, but it's time for us to do it again. Let's close.
To do this as well. And I have to give the credit to this idea, Miss Kathy Hughes of Radio 1. She's like, Michael, it is time that you guys organize a fund to set aside to help people who sacrifice for our freedom. Meaning, every time something happens, I hear this. Why don't the gang bangers jump up and do something for us? Why don't you kill them? You kill each other. And I say to myself, when is the last time you sent money to Assata Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Matulu Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Mumia Abu Jamal or Larry Hoover or Jeff Ford or Leonard Peltier? When is the last time you have made it your business to send money to a revolutionary or a hoodlum that has helped us? And until we start to do that, how can we ask these young men to be warriors? Because if they do it in the name of the hood, at least the hood don't honor their name always. At least the hood gonna make sure at least their children got something or their mama's house is looked after. As a community, if we're going to ask people to bungee jump for us with no cord, be prepared to take care of them when they get a life sentence. Be prepared to look after their families. See, I don't mind the work getting done, but let's take care of the workers. Let's asking more out of people than we would do for ourselves. So what I'd like to see, my dream thing, is to see 1 million people from the culture dedicate $10 a month. That's $10 million a month, $120 million a year toward taking care of civil rights leaders who have worked on our behalf and are elderly now and don't have to take care of themselves, like Rosa Parks, whose rent was paid by the owner of Little Caesars Pizza. We should have had a fund to make sure that she never had to worry about that again in her life. We should have a fund that makes sure money makes it to Assata Shakur, and Matulu Shakur has legal representation and food, and Leonard Peltier, who has diabetes in jail, can get insulin and taken care of. And until we start doing it, $10 a month is about what you pay on a couple fast food restaurant visits. So if 1 million of us do that for the rest of our life, look at how well we'll be taking care of the people that are actually sacrifice on our behalf.
I agree. And recently